good morning. Welcome back to All Right, What's Next? On today's episode, we're going to repair and recondition a very well used cutting board. I had a video a while back on how to make these style of cutting boards, and the one that I use every day, or not me, I use it sometimes. I cook once a week, but it gets used nearly every day. And somebody in my house decided that they wanted to get into leatherworking, and part of leatherworking is embossing patterns into the leather. And to do that, you have different tooling dies with different patterns on there, and you take a big freaking hammer and you pound on the fucking leather and you emboss that pattern into it. And they decided to use this as a pounding block rather than coming out here to the shop and just grabbing a chunk of scrap wood and using one of the workbenches. It was my kitchen table and my cutting board that they used, and broke my fucking cutting board in half. Now these, where the veneer is the weak link, but it's a cutting board, not a pounding block. Now, when they glued it back together and it worked, we got another 3 months out of it before the glue failed again, because once you break the glue bond and you try and re-glue back to that glue, you're gluing the glue and you're not getting any penetration into the wood grains. It's not going to hold worth a shit. So we still have there is a lot of the veneer and the glue on here. We need to get that off of there, and we have to do it very carefully because we want the veneer and the glue gone. We don't want the wood to go anywhere, because if we screw up this pattern, it won't mate to that one any longer, and then the whole cutting board is not going to work. So what we got to do is we're going to take this over to the oscillating drum sander, and we're going to very carefully sand this off. We're going to glue a new piece of veneer into here. Once that glue is set up, we're going to re-sand this, we're going to recondition it, we're going to make it look like it was brand new. Well, that's what we're going to attempt. There's a strong possibility I will just royally fuck it up. Okay, so we got pretty good fitment right there. There's a couple little gaps here and there, but that's what the veneer is gonna do. We're gonna, you sandwich that veneer in there, and that stuff compresses and fills up any of them little tiny voids. You don't want voids. There might be better stuff to do this process with. This is what I could find. This is paper-backed veneer. I would have preferred not to have had paper-backed veneer. It's the only thing that I could find that didn't have glue on it. You don't want to use the glue because I'm sure that glue probably isn't food safe. Because we're going to glue this up with Type Bond 3, which is food safe. So you got paper-backed veneer. It makes a really good bond regardless with the paperback on there. This thing would still be holding strong had somebody not taken basically a sledgehammer to it. But that's all right. So now I got to cut a strip out of this thing. We need some scrap blocks there so we don't fuck up the wood. Where's my bottle of glue? There it is. fucking whore. I need a third fucking hand because this clamp is being a bitch. Okay, so I got the clamps off, glue's all dry. I hope it's all dry. It's been sitting here for a week now. Now we got to remove all of this excess veneer that's sticking out everywhere on the top. I could probably just sand it off. It wouldn't take that. I'm gonna try and just remove most of it with a really sharp chisel. We're just gonna slide it through, pare off all of this excess veneer. The best way to do that, because you're gonna be pushing on it, you don't want this thing sliding around, so you need to put a bench dog down to have this bump up against it. Ugh. I got my bench dog. And that doesn't seem to work for shit. The thing doesn't hold it in place. My bench is not equipped with holes for my bench dog. So he can just sit over here with my chisels and we'll just have to clamp this in place. All right, now it's ready to be sanded. I'm gonna get the belt sander out. I got a 120 grit belt for it. That will make short work all these goddamn knife blade marks and everything on here. I'm gonna sand this thing down, clean up in the juice groove and that. And once I get all the sand, once I get the belt sanding done, then I'm gonna go ahead and hit it with 150 grit, 220 grit, and then we will recondition with butcher block oil. I'm not going to bore you with the sanding process. I've already bored you enough with this process. I'll get the sanding done and then I'll turn the camera back on because I don't really want to run the camera with the frickin' belt sander going. Once sanding's done, turn it back on, we'll recondition this and we'll have a brand new goddamn cutting board. Okay, I got it all sanded down to 220. Wiggle, wiggle. I got it sitting on some silicone risers. Now we're gonna put the butcher block oil on. Now what we're gonna put on here is completely food safe, non-toxic, whatever. You know, we're not putting motor oil on here. But I'm gonna wear gloves just because keep the goddamn oil off. And that's all I'm gonna use is just Howard's cutting board oil. Not a sponsor. I bought that. It said nobody sponsors. I don't have enough viewers for that kind of shit. And you want 3 coats of this. And you're just gonna pour it on, wipe it around, let it soak in. Your first coat is gonna soak in a lot. My choice of rags might not have been the best. This is an old 9 Inch Nails t-shirt I got at a concert back in '94, I think. And I think the cotton is kind of rotten. It's just falling apart. I should have used my bag of lint-free cloth that I have. That is coat number 1. I'm gonna let this sit for about 20 minutes. I'm gonna put another coat on, let it sit for another 20 minutes, put another coat on, see what it looks like. Maybe I'll do a 4th coat, but that's it. I mean, it's pretty easy. I took an old busted freaking cutting board, refurbished it, sanded it down. Now it looks like it's brand new. I can take it back in the house and start using it again. I can put my spare back up in the cabinet before it gets beat the hell. All right, guys. Hey, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button. See you next time.